Andrew Faas has joined us all the way from Toronto, one of the great cities of the world, with one of the great books that we've talked about for a long time on this show, The Bully's Trap. Hold on just a second, Mom and Dad. We're not talking about near the monkey bars during recess. We're talking about in the workplace, bullying in the workplace. How did this come about?
Well, I've got a pretty unique perspective because early in my career I was called out for being a bully. Throughout my career I have helped countless people deal with bullying, and late in my career I was retaliated against because I was a whistleblower. I blew the whistle on a corrupt executive who retaliated against me. Lasted 18 months. I spent most of my waking hours dwelling on it, and I woke up one morning and said, I've got to rid myself of the negative energy, turn it into positive, and that is what propelled me into writing this book. I was able to deal with it successfully, but many people, most people, are not.
How common is it?
Very common. So in terms of statistics, well over half the people in the working world have gone through a bullying situation. Everybody I've talked to over the last 6 years now, everybody I've talked to has had or knows somebody close to them who has gone through a severe bullying incident.
Are we talking about that which is common in all cultures? You're a Canadian. We know that it takes place in America. What about Europe and Asia?
Well, the one country who I think has a fairly good grip on it is Australia, but it's pretty universal. And it really stems from how organizations are structured. It's usually very top-down, dictatorial.
Well, let's talk about that, though. Let's talk about positions that attract bullies. Is it always the top, or is it middle management?
Well, no, it's 70% of the bullying is boss to subordinate. But it usually stems from the top, and it really answers the question, why do bullies bully? And the reason they bully is because they can. They're in a culture that accepts it, condones it, and in many instances expects it as a method by which to motivate.
But you said you took care of it in your workplace after a period of time, and the book gives some very, very specific methods of dealing with bullying in the workplace. But it seems to me that there is a level of almost futile frustration if it's your boss that's doing the bullying. Who do you go to?
Well, when people come to me and say I'm going through this situation, and who should I go to? And I usually advise them not to go to people internally unless they absolutely trust the person. Over 70%, well over 70% of people who have severely been bullied don't trust the Human Resources Department, and they're the natural group that people should go to. But they find that human resources is part of the problem versus part of the solution.
Is that generally true?
It's generally true. And I believe that they should be part of the solution, but if they're working in a environment that is directed from the top to have a toxic culture. Amazon is a great example where I don't know whether you read the expose on them
yes.
in the New York Times, and the CEO's comment was, well, that's not the Amazon I know. And so he's either oblivious to what's going on in his company, or that's the model that he uses.
But if you're going to go outside, though, Andrew, if you're going to go outside of the organization, well, outside?
A family member, a friend, but it's to strategize on how to deal with it. And I am suggesting that people think about what they're going through, and then think about how they're going to confront it. And most people usually deal with it alone, and in many cases, if they do go inside, they just they're told, suck it up. That's just the way it is around here.
Where do we get the book other than on Amazon?
Amazon. Well, you can also get it through my my webpage, which is andrewfaas.com, and through my publisher, which is Tate Publishing out of Oklahoma City.
See, I have an idea. What if somebody right now is saying, I'm on my way to work, I dread it because there's a bully in my organization, and I'm the victim. How do people find you to tell you?
Well, I'm not suggesting they all call me. What I am suggesting is that they read my book. I provide, I think, fairly logical advice. I don't have all of the answers. The book is intended to open a discussion and debate on a very serious issue. The ultimate answer is to get an organization to transform from having a toxic culture to having a very safe space.
His name is Andrew Faas. He doesn't want to hear from you. He just wants you to read the book. And hopefully you'll get all of the information that I did when I was reading The Bully's Trap. Andrew Faas, F-A-A-S. This is AZTV, The Morning Scramble.